some Brad Paisley on this channel, and I've posted a few lessons and solo playthroughs of some Brad Paisley stuff in the past. I was going through and looking at those, and one of the first Brad solos I ever learned was his solo to Mud on the Tires, and I posted that. I'll link that here, but watching me play it, watching back, I didn't do it correctly. So I thought, okay, this would be a good one to start with, but I need to learn it the right way so that I can then actually teach it. I don't want to be teaching the wrong things on here. And so it got me kind of into the rabbit hole of watching guys on YouTube either teach this solo or play this solo, and I realized that no one does it correctly. Even Brad Paisley himself.
You know what I'm going to do? Watch this. I'm going to listen to it.
So there's a few interviews that have been posted recently with Brad where he's asked about this specific solo. And I would just like to clarify that this is in no way me saying that I don't think Brad could play this. I think quite the opposite. I think it's actually more impressive that he just kind of ad-libs it and improvises as he goes through these changes, and then still manages to land in the right spots. That is more impressive. I think it would take him all of 20-30 minutes to sit down and listen to the actual record if he was trying to play it note for note. So take this with a grain of salt when I say that even Brad's not playing this correctly. He's kind of teaching it in these interviews the way he's doing it now. This song has been out for quite a while now, and as he's played it live, it's just evolved with time. So I'm not knocking how he's playing it at all. It's just not helpful if you're trying to learn the actual solo from the record note for note.
Something like that.
So I did what I end up doing a lot of times. That is slowing the solo section down and kind of trying to learn it note for note, one note at a time, at like 50% speed. So since we're on the topic, let's slow this down to 50% and hear what this lick sounds like at that speed. If you want tabs for the whole solo as well as a backing track to practice this solo over, those are going to be available over on Patreon. The backing track will just kind of have a loop going so that you can practice it at different speeds, work on getting all this stuff under your fingers. So if that's something you're interested, I would definitely appreciate it if you went over there and checked that out. So with that in mind, let's break this down. We're going to talk about what he's doing, what the chords are in the background, what he's playing over those and why it works. And then in Brad's wacky way, man, he's kind of doing all this crazy stuff and then it just lands perfectly. So the song is in the key of D, right? And the solo section follows the chorus section. So it actually, the solo is going back and forth between the A and the G chord, which if you're familiar with the key of D is your 4 and your 5 chord relative to D. But so it starts with kind of that, and he's doing a behind the nut bend. So that's over A. Then it goes to a G chord. Then he's back to the A. And then he goes back to a G, but this is where the chord progression gets a little bit interesting because the bass line is walking down. The bass line is actually playing G to an F sharp, to an E, to a D, and then going back to the A. So there's kind of some motion there, and as it turns out, one of the kind of the faster licks that he does is just over that brief section where the D chord shows up briefly. So that's kind of where we're going to start this lick. He does a little bit, that's over the G, and then it does this. And that little bit right there is that's right when the kind of the backing band is just briefly landing on that D before it goes to the A, and then the rest of kind of that the triplet, that's all happening over the A chord. So yeah, kind of why that works though. He's playing, he's walking down from G, or the band is. So these first kind of swept notes are, they work over a G chord, right? Because it's just kind of right out of your G major triad. Then right when it goes to that D briefly, he's just pulling off from a D major triad. So he does that little bit in D, and then this is where the song goes to the A. And if we think about our A, Brad likes to obviously pull off these open strings. That's not exactly what he's doing, but that's kind of the vibe he's going there, or the vibe he's going for there. It's just that. And if you were just to play that alone, it sounds great over A. Right, we could resolve that and just land on your A chord. But it doesn't end there. The motion is kind of continuing, and the band, the song is pushing back to that D, which is the actual key of the song. So after he does that, he does two slides there. Just from like 7 and 5, then 9 and 7. And here, it's also interesting. He's actually playing notes out of a D major scale. If you're familiar with how like the relationship between the 1 and the 5 work, in this case the D and the A, our D major scale and our A Mixolydian scale are the same, right? So if we're thinking about A major but having that flattened 7th instead, right? So if here's our A, that's how we get that sound, right? We're going down a whole step. But those notes, in order to get that sound in A, are the exact same notes as the key of D major. So it's kind of blurring the lines here. He's playing over an A chord, but the track is going back to the D, and that's kind of one of the reasons it works so well. So he does those slides. And I'm kind of playing that wrong as I'm playing it slow. He just picks it once, yeah. So it's... And that final slide is important if you listen to the timing of it. And he's landing, the song has just gone to the D chord. It's back to the root of the whole song. But he's landing on an A note, which is the chord we just came from. And A is, like we talked about, it's the 5th note within the key of D. So it's also in your D major triad. So landing on an A when you're playing over a D chord is totally fine. It sounds good. And I can't, like, when you listen to this song, it's just so ingrained that that's where the D chord comes back in. So even though he's landing on an A note, it's very clear that the chord progression has changed again, and that the band is playing a D. So altogether, kind of slowed down. So there you have it. There's how you play the mysterious lick from Brad Paisley's song Mud on the Tires. If you like this lesson, if you want to see more Brad Paisley stuff in the future, maybe you want to see this whole solo taught, let me know below. I'd be curious to know your thoughts, what you think of this lick, what you think of stuff like this. It's a lot of fun to play once you get it up to speed. So yeah, that's all I got for now for today. Thanks for tuning in, for checking this out. Hopefully you guys can learn this and get you on your way, kind of getting that Brad Paisley feel or flavor. We can start working on getting that into our playing. All right, cool. Well, cheers. That's all I got. We'll see you guys all in the next lesson. If you're interested in learning how all these country techniques come together, I'm in the process of putting a full series on this exact topic over on my Patreon. So far there's 7 or 8 videos where we're breaking down the actual techniques needed to play this style of country guitar. We're working on building speed in our right hand just within flat picking itself, just using a pick. We're also working on incorporating chicken picking, doing banjo rolls, double stops, stuff like that. We're going to have a whole section where we address the mechanics of bending, how to work on getting our bends in tune, and kind of how to reach some of those more bends that are a little bit more difficult to grab. There's a few other topics that we'll be addressing as well. So if you're interested, definitely go check that out.